Shh. Sit down na please. We're about to start. Sir Direk? Okay. So our first speaker is a television and film director. Temptation of Wife, My Husband's Lover, and Luna Blanca are just a few examples of his work. Coming from our very own DLSU, Mr. Dominic Zapata.
Hi guys, it's so nice to be back in school. Kung kalalong kakatapos lang natin mag-champion. Dito na lang.
Hindi ako sneaky.
Hi guys, nakatanggap kasi ako ng invited by Charina Pinto. Nanay yata yung mga klase. Sorry. My name is Dominic Zapata. I direct for television. I do movies as well. Some of the stuff I've done currently, I've just finished My Husband's Lover, Temptation of Wife. I did Mulawin, Darna ni Angel, Darna ni Marian, Captain Barbell, both Captain Barbells. The movie na Mulawin, I did Boy Pick Up the Movie, I did Valentine Girl, I did Kuya, I did a musical that I'm proud of, pero TV siya, si Regine Velasquez, it was called Diva. The first time we also did a Korean adaptation, we did Ako si Kim Samsun as well as Regine Velasquez. We also did an adaptation of an Argentinian original, it was La Lola, that featured Rian Ramos. I'm work mostly for television. When I received the text from Charina, I was told, sabi, Direk, you'll be talking about creative freedom. Sabi ko, okay, what specifically about creative freedom? And then the text, I think, went something like, can you talk to us about creative freedom, the way the network or the producers dictate and how they encroach on your creativity, on your freedom? And I'm like, okay. So, right off the bat, I want you to know that I may be disappointing with what I'm about to say. I do not necessarily subscribe to that point of view or to that thesis na ganun yung nangyayari. Not completely, but mostly disagreeing. Having made that statement, I think that would pique your interest and probably arouse your curiosity with the next things I'm about to say. Yes, big producers will tell you what they want. I've worked with them. They will tell you, Direk, I want a comedy. Direk, I want a love story. Direk, do me a fantasy. It will star so and so. Ito yung artista natin. Then they question your story. And they'll tell you your additional casting. Kailangan rin natin ilagay si ganyan. Direk, kasi binibuild up namin si ganyan. Ilalagay natin si ganyan. And then they question your execution. Direk, paano ba treatment mo dito? I remember when I was younger, pag tanong ka, ano yung treatment mo? I'm like, anong treatment? Shoot ko lang to eh. Ano ibig sabihin? Di ba kayo natataranta pag tinatanong kayong gano'n? Anong treatment mo dito? Treatment? Basta may script eh. Basta shoot ko. Anong treatment? Di ba? Ang dami nilang tanong. And then, they'll ask, they'll question your storytelling. And then, they'll question the length of your material before you shoot it, while you're shooting it, after you've shot it. They'll question, Direk, it's over 2 hours. Hindi pwede yun. Paikliin ninyo. Yeah, they ask all these questions. But is that dictating? I'll tell you what. You know why they ask these things? Because it's their freaking money. Okay? It's their freaking money that you're using. Magmalaki tayo kung tayo yung nagpo-produce. Papasok ako dyan, ito gagawin ko. Pera ko to eh. Then do whatever you want. Pero we have to understand, lumalapit rin tayo sa kanila. No, I'm not against creative freedom. I am all for that. I need that. That's part of my work. But for outsiders, it's really easy to make assumptions as to how studios work. I think we both have first-hand experiences with studios. When I say studio, it's not a studio facility. Studio like Regal, like Viva. By the way, when you say, I saw this really nice t-shirt nakalagay. Filmmaker ka? Kita mo na yan? May nagpagawa eh. Filmmaker ka? Nag-regal ka na ba? Pag hindi ka pa nagre-regalo, hindi ka pa filmmaker. Yan sasabi nila. Bakit? Kasi ang daming ang dami mong pagdadaanan sa regal. Mostly budget. When it comes to that. Budget yung nagiging problema mo. And kapag as an outsider, especially for students or yung mga hindi pa nakakarami, maiinis ka sa mga naririnig mo. Maiinis ka dun sa naririnig mo na post-dated checks ni Mother Lily. Natapos mo na yung pelikula about maybe a year after even, pumupunta ka pa rin sa bangko, pinapa-encash mo yung check mo na post-dated. Ang laki na ng kinita niya. It's particularly easier for people to hate something you don't understand. So I'll try to make you understand better. To make you understand the setup better, how it works. In the text it said, I was told na meron mga formulas ka raw na kailangan sundin. And that will encroach on your creativity. I'll tell you what, the formulas you speak of aren't established on a whim. A mistaken notion is that gusto lang nila laging gayahin kung anong ginawa sa Hollywood. These formulas kasi na sinasabi nila. For example, meron kami dati sa TV na ginawa, tapos storya siya ng artista. TV mo na to. Story ng artista. Tinignan mo yung ratings, walang nanood. Walang interesado dun sa buhay ng artista. Kunwari yung story, nag-artista siya, ganun. Mababa yung ratings. Ano magagawa mo? Siyempre, the next time na mag-pitch ka ng ganong concept, sasabihin na nila, hindi ho kakagatin yan. Whereas ikaw, sabihin, hindi, maganda story ako eh. Papanoorin to. Yung pinanggagalingan nun was experience. Sa'yo, a lot of gut feel. Okay? Hindi mo nga siguro pinanood yung una nilang ginawa na nag-fail eh. To even say that. But I want us kasi, kapag binibigyan tayo ng mga producers, ng mga guidelines, let's just call them guidelines. I don't want them to be, I don't want to say that they're dictating what you can and what you cannot do. But these are guidelines. These are from their experiences. These are their learnings. I can't blame them kapag sinasabi nila sa atin yung learnings nila. Kasi, ang tagal nila sa industriya eh. A mistaken notion is always, sasabihin sa akin, Direk, bakit ganun? Especially yung mga medyo bagong palang kilala. Bakit ganun? Ang hilig nilang gayahin kung ano yung ginagawa sa Hollywood. Gagawa na sila ngayon ng vampire movie. Gagawa sila ng mala Twilight. Gagawa sila ng mala zombie movie. The truth is, I just as often hear comments from the producers saying na, no, that's not gonna work locally. May ganun rin silang reaction. Ang nakikita nyo lang siguro yung mga ginawa nila na may kapareho sa Hollywood. Oo, nanggagaya sila. Pero hindi lahat nila ginagaya. Ang nakikita nyo lang, what stands out are the ones na nanggaya. Yung mga hindi nila ginaya, hindi nyo napupuna. Yung mga original nila, hindi nyo napuna. Wala lang. Kasi wala kayong basihan eh. Para nakakita kayo ng muka. Kapag nakita mo, kunwari si Direk Joe Lamangan, sabihin mo, hindi ko siya iniinsulto. Pero pag sabi nga, si Direk Joe Lamangan, kamukha ni Alan Kay. Pag sabi ni kamukha ni Alan Kay, may isip mo na Alan Kay. Kamukha na si Alan Kay. O si Direk Dom, mukhang payat na Michael V. Isipin, oo nga, Kamukha niya. Pero kapag nakita ka ng isang muka na hindi naman remarkable, walang kamuka, natandaan mo ba? Hindi. Pero naaalala mo si Direk Joel, kamukha ni Alan Kay. Yun yung nagmarka sa'yo. What I'm saying is that, iniisip mo lang, marami silang kaparehong Hollywood movies. Of course. Merong ganun. Kahit yung Hollywood movies nga, nanggaya naman sa mga Japanese, sa Korean. Pero hindi lahat ganun. Huwag lang natin lahatin. And, kasi these producers are not stupid. Yeah, some are stupid, yes. But for the most part, they have good business and creative sense. I'll tell you about a project that I came across. Tinawag ako ni Amy Marcos. Sabi ni Amy, Direk, can you look at this? Can I set up a meeting with you? Okay. Tapos pumunta ako, tapos pinakitaan na ako ng pelikula na hindi tapos. Sabi niya, what's this? I want you to watch this. No. What do you think of it? Like, parang di pa po siya tapos. Exactly. I've had a couple of directors kasi, I don't know. Sorry. Ito pala. Amy Marcos. What do you think of it, Direk? Oh my God. I've had 2 directors already, and I don't get it. Look at this other director. He always shoots the back of the head. It's such a monster. Hindi kasi nagpagawa kasi So, this woman obviously is very smart. And the directors that she got, di kalidad. Alam ko yung gawa eh. Sabi ko, may ganun. Hindi lang sila nagkakasundo. So sometimes it's really not just about a producer encroaching on your creativity because of budget constraints or what have you. We have to understand these producers are also creative people na meron rin silang idea kung ano gusto nila. Baka nga mas gusto ko na yung producer na alam yung gusto niya kaysa producer na hindi alam yung gusto niya. Meron lang siyang pera, tapos sabihin niya sa'yo, gawa ka naman ng movie, may pera ako. Ang obligasyon mo, ibalik yung pera sa kanya. Will your creative freedom guarantee, nakikita siya? Hindi eh. Diba? Minsan, ang ganda ng proyekto, marami na ako napanood, ang ganda. Hindi naman pinanood. Yan ang lagi ko pinagmamalaki kasi about our majoring program. We have always been very aware of the communication part of communication arts. We have to be able to communicate. We also understand that it is a mass medium. Sinabihan ako dati ni wala sa inyong nahawakan ng tao na to. Marami sa inyo hindi kilala yung tao na to. Ang pangalan niya si Ayi Magpayo. Manunulat siya. Ang ayaw na ayaw niya, kapag gagawa ka ng, pag may sinulat ka, is for you to use these highfalutin words. Yung mga hindi mo maintindihan. We are communicators. First and foremost. So if there are things that we do, things that we say, which people do not understand, then we are not effective communicators. Eh di, paano ngayon kung ikaw lang nakaintindi? That's what I call a masturbation project. Diba? Wala lang eh. Ako lang natuwa eh. Sarapan ako. Sarap no sinulat ko eh. Enjoy ako. Na-enjoy niyo ba? Hindi. Para sa akin kasi ito. We have to be aware of that. And that's why when our producers or networks tell us na, that might not work, they're coming from somewhere. They're also part of our audience. Sometimes they don't represent majority of our audience. Doon nagkakaroon tayo ng negotiation. Pero essentially kasi talaga, it's still a business. We can't fault them for that. They have stayed in the business because of the same reasons why we all took this course. Sinasabi ko sa inyo ng they're not in it for the money. Not all of them. In fact, not entirely. Yung pinaka-kinabubuisitan siguro ng karamihan, ang Regal Films, si Mother Lily, maraming hindi nakakaalam. Si Mother Lily ay may malaking garments factory sa China. Mayaman na mayaman yan. She doesn't need to produce. She just loves it. Gusto lang yung gawin. Ganon din tayo, di ba? So pare-pareho lang tayo. So let's not hate her. I'm talking to you, Dominic. Let's not hate her. Kasi okay, kasali na ako doon. I have to remind myself that because I also owe her a lot. I owe her the industry from which the industry that brings bread, that brings food to the table of my folks. Sa kanya nagsimula yon. Kung walang film industry, walang television industry. At siya, kahit lumulubog na yung industriya ng pelikula, nandun pa rin siya. She has stayed on. And I have to give her credit for that. Because she loves movie making. It wasn't about the money. Now it's clear to me. Dati hindi. Dati nung una kong pelikula, binigyan niya ako ng budget. Ito lang, film pa ang gamit nun. 35,000 feet. Medyo maikli na, Sir Doy. 35,000 feet. Ang ginawa ko nun was called Kuya. It had a cast of Richard Gutierrez, Oyo Boy, Angel Oxin, ganyan. Mga newbies lahat sila. When you're shooting something like that, medyo teen flick. Yung cast ko, 11. When you're shooting a teen flick, you'll eventually understand this. Pero sabihin ko na sa inyo yung tip. You have to shoot a lot of close-ups, even if the medium is a wide format medium like movies. Mahalaga yung muka. Kasi yung fans yan, gusto makita yung muka. You can't shoot like vistas and vistas upon vistas upon vistas. Hindi matutuwa yung mga fans nila. So you have to give them close-ups. So every time you shoot a close-up, you're using film. So yung 35,000 feet mo, hindi sapat. So nangyari sa akin, I shot it ng mga 55,000 feet with a lot of short ends. Binayaran ko yung extra na yun kay Mother Lily. Binawas dun sa TF ko na to begin with was very small because it was my first movie. And then, I needed stunt doubles just for safety. I paid for my stunt doubles. I wanted an ambulance in the scene. I paid for the ambulance. I paid for the coffee shop. Na location. I paid for this and that. Ang dami kong binayaran, ang dami kong inabonohan. Busit na busit ako nung una. Pero, ngayon, looking back, siguro she couldn't trust me as much before. Baguhan pa lang ako. She was giving me a break. And even that, I owe her. Kasi parang sino ba naman ako, wala pa ako napapatunayan. Sinasabi na sa kanila nila, Malufagar, yung ibang mga sila, Dolor Giva, sila, Boots Plata. Ba't mapapadirigan yung ano? Wala pa yung alam, wala pa napapatunayan. But she took a gamble on me. So I had that responsibility na pakita sa kanya, una, mababalik ko yung pera niyo, ma'am. Pangalawa, you made the right choice. So kapag ganun, bago-baguhan ka pa, medyo makikibagay ka pa. Kapag may napatunayan ka na, pwede ka na medyo mas makapag-negotiate at magtaray-taray. Then you could exercise your creative freedom a little more. When we all graduate glowing with idealism, as we should. But when we're told restrictions, when we are told the restrictions and limitations, these are essentially guidelines based on a wealth of experience that these producers have learned from being in the business before us. It's up to us to use to our advantage and add to that what they taught us in school. Ang hindi ko kasi naiintindihan, kapag binigyan kayo ng limitations, tapos, iniisip nyo, binigyan kayo ng guidelines. Hindi natin magamit yung guidelines na to as knowledge. We just kind of stick to that. Pag binigyan tayo ng guidelines, these are just guidelines. Dadagdagan yun, you augment that with what you've learned in school. Okay? Kung hindi natin kayang dagdagan yung guidelines, am I making sense? Maybe not. I'll get to that later. That's our failure kapag hindi natin nadadagdagan yun. Say for example, sinabi sa akin, Direk, punta tayo sa My Husband's Lover. Dun sa mga hindi have no idea what My Husband's Lover is. It is a gay-themed soap. The first of its kind so far. Pinagawa ko, sinabi sa akin yung guidelines, Direk, they cannot kiss on screen. Pwede mong ipaglapit, but they cannot kiss on screen. Okay. Yun yung guidelines. Does that encroach on my creative freedom necessarily? Maybe to a certain extent. Pero bakit ang hina ko naman kung hindi ko kayang diskartehan at hindi ko kaya ikwento yung kailangan ko ikwento pag binigyan ako ng ganong klaseng limitation? Have they entirely encroached on my creative freedom? Feeling ko nga, lalo pa nila akong na-challenge. Kasi, ito lang pwede mong gawin. Sige, dadagdagan ko yun. Didiskartehan ko. Mas creative ka kung kaya mong diskartehan. Basta yung binibigay nila sa atin na give us guidelines. This is the knowledge that they gained through the years. We should accept it and even welcome it. Kasi knowledge nila ito, ini-impart nila sa atin to. The same way our teachers, pag naturuan nila tayo, no matter how boring it gets sometimes, we should at least keep it in our memory banks. Sometimes kasi, it only makes sense when you're at a certain point in your life, doing a certain task, dun mo lang pala siya magagamit. It doesn't make sense at that current moment. But eventually, you'll be able to use that knowledge. And I would like to think that these guidelines that they give us, when we enter a network, when we talk to a big studio producer, magagamit rin natin yun para sa kaalaman natin. Why do I sound this way? Why do I sound like I'm overly defending them? Because I am personally sick and tired of the animosity that is shown towards mainstream cinema. Not because I'm part of the mainstream cinema. I could say this objectively. I do not, at the twilight of my life, I do not want to be defined by my career. I do not want to be defined by my achievements in my career. I want to be defined as a person. That was how I grew up. Pag sinabi sa magulang ko ng kung sino mga nandun yung litrato ko.
Mga bulaklak, nandito yung ito yung mukha ko, pinili ko yan bago ako matodas.
Tapos lalapit sila sa magulang ko. Mr. Zapata, ang galing po ng anak ninyo. Ang galing po niya, ang ganda po nung ginawa niya, may husband's lover. At saka gusto ko po, ako po si Angel Locsin, ako po si Alwina sa Mulawin. Ang ganda po ang husay. Pero kung may lumapit sa magulang ko, sabihin nila, Sir, si Dominic po ang katrabaho namin. Sir, mabait na tao siya. Mabait na tao siya. Palagay ko sa akin, mas may karga yun. Mas may karga rin sa magulang ko yun. Yun yung mga taong mahal ko. Yun yung gusto ko mapasaya. Palagay ko mas mapapasaya sila kapag sinabi sa kanila, mabuting tao yan. What I'm trying to say is that I don't really give a fuck about this. What my achievements are. I just enjoy telling a story. That's all it is. Recognition or no recognition, it doesn't matter to me. I enjoy it. I want a nice project. I want at the end of the day, pag humiga ako, was that the best I could do? Kung hindi, sasama loob ko. Pero kung sinagad ko, hindi. Gusto ko to. It doesn't say, I'm not saying I'm not passionate about it. In fact, I raise hell kapag may kailangan akong i-reshoot because of a technical flaw dahil may mali sa continuity. I hate it so much because I feel like I have shot it the best way I could. If I could have shot it better, I would have shot it better. But what you already have is the best I could. If you're gonna ask me to reshoot that, I will hate it. Kasi nilabas ko lahat yun dun sa eksenang yun. Kahit gaano kasimple eksena na yun, papareshoot mo sa akin, hindi ako matutuwa sa'yo. That's why, going back, why did I mention that? Because that's why I'm saying, when I'm defending mainstream cinema, I have no attachment to it. I just don't want na palagi nangyayari yung mainstream cinema. I'm a staunch supporter of indie films. Sino sa inyo nanood nung ano yung huli niyo napanood? Who watched Transit? Good. Who watched Purok 7? Who watched OTJ? Mas konti dun sa OTJ. Kung ako tatanungin nyo, ang sinabit natin dapat yung OTJ. I'm a fan of Eric Mati. Yun dapat naman. I'm a fan of what he does, how he visualizes things, how he can make it big, how he can make big scenes. I don't want us to shy away from these big scenes, but I'll get to that later. Mahilig ako sa indie. Pero okay rin ako sa mainstream. Kung titignan mo nga, parang pareho nga lang eh. Pero ako, pagpapasok ako sa indie, at hindi ako nagrereklamo hindi ako nagrereklamo pag sinabi ko ito. Pag may papasok ako sa indie, alam mo, pinupuno ko sa bulsa ko. Punong-puno to ng pasyensya, pagpapatawad dito. Punong-puno yan. Bursting at the seams. Kasi pag nakita ko yung Transit, which is a good film, ang daming soft. Ang daming soft focus. Papayag ba ako nun? Kung ako si Mother Lily, nakita ni Mother Lily yun, sabi naman, ano yan, bakit labo yan? Bakit labo shot mo dyan? Sino-focus polar na to, tangka, putang ina, pangit. Yun, yung sasabihin ni Mother Lily. But because it's an indie, nagpapatawad tayo. It's fine. Ang hindi ko maintindihan, why it works in reverse. Pag manood ng mainstream. Pag manood sila ng mainstream, may makita sila mali, bakit naman yan? Wala kayo na po ng gano'n nung nanood kayo ng indie? Why can't we be just fair to everyone? Hindi, kasi mas konti yung budget. May explain ba natin yan? Pag pinalabas natin sa abroad, may explain ba natin yan? May explain mo ba yun sa nakatanggap lang ng kopya ng pelikula? Kasi this was shot in 7 days. This was shot in 20 days. Magkakaiba rin eh. Ang gusto ko lang, let's just be fair. Wag nilang ginaganon yung mainstream movies. Kasi yung mga gumawa rin ito, ganun din yung pinagdaanan nila, may proseso rin. Ayoko lang na ginajudge yung gumagawa ng mainstream. The same way, hindi ako natutuwa kapag yung parokya ni Edgar gustong-gusto nila dati. Tapos nung medyo sumikat na ayaw nila. Kasi, bakit? Sell out. What's so bad about making money? Kumikita ka kinagat eh. Bakit pag kinagat, hindi na cool? You know what? Simply put, the industry could really use so much less animosity and hatred. Not even just the industry. The world could make do with a lot less hatred and a lot more acceptance. Here we go. Limitations are set to know your boundaries. Stop focusing on what you cannot do and aren't allowed to. There is so much more that you can do. Why is it na pag sinabi kunwari sa akin, sa akin hindi pero pag sinabi sa'yo, hindi ka pwedeng mag-kiss on screen, wala ka ng bukang bibig, kundi, bakit hindi ka pwedeng mag-kiss on screen? Ba't hindi pwedeng mag-kiss on screen yung dalawang lalaki? Ang dami pwedeng gawin. Ang dami pang ibang pwedeng, wala kang diskarte. Kunwari, hindi pumapasok yung tira ni vosotros, talo na tayo. Susubukan ko ulit mamaya. In the meantime, I can do something else. So, ganito, look at watercolor. Who paints? You paint? Have you used watercolor? Have you used oil? Ibang-iba. Yung watercolor, kailangan mabilis ka magtrabaho. At kailangan precise. Kailangan tama. You can't redo it pag gumamit ka ng watercolor. It comes with a territory. May nagrereklamo ba? May nagsabi ba na, mas magaling na pintor yan kasi oil. Ganun lang. It really just comes with a territory. You can't complain. Eto, mas maliwanag. Are they encroaching on your... Kasi what we do here, if we're not producing it, if we're just directing it, we're commissioned to do that. It's commissioned work. I cannot say they're encroaching on my creative freedom when I'm told na, okay, sir, you are going to paint the Sistine Chapel. Ang pwede mo lang i-paint, we don't want to see any dragons, it has to be a religious artwork. Itong 4 na Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles na to, itong mga artists na to, lahat sila commissioned work. Did they make that less of artists now? Sila Michelangelo, sila Raphael, sila Da Vinci. Ang dami nilang ginawang commissioned work. Sinabi sa kanya, gumawa kayo ng ano, gumawa kayo ng sculpture na ganito, gumawa kayo ng sculpture na ganun. It's commissioned work by the king, by whoever. You go to Rome, you go to Paris, you go to all these museums. A lot are commissioned work, but did it make them less of an artist today? Hindi eh. Kung artist ka. Kung magaling ka, magaling ka. Kung ano ang pagagawa sa'yo, gagawin mo, kakayanin mo. Pero nandun pa rin yung diskarte mo. If you wanna put your trademark, kung ano man yun, ganon. It doesn't mean to say na encroach yung freedom, hindi mo na magagawa. Ang tendency kasi natin ito, para ma-realize nyo kung ano yung mga proseso nangyari sa'yo. Ang tendency na kasi natin, kung ano yung bawal, yun yung gusto natin gawin. Behavior natin yan, estudyante pa lang tayo eh. Ay, bawal ka. Ha, bawal. Isipin mo, bakit bawal yun? Hindi ko naman, baka susunod na sabihin natin kung ano lang yung pwede. Ang pwede sa inyo ganito, ang daming pwede eh. Pero pag sinabi sa inyo yung bawal, doon kayo nag-focus sa bawal. Iniisip natin na pag sumunod tayo sa kasunduan, our creativity is being bridled. Those weren't issues to real artists before. And they shouldn't be issues now. Okay? Most of us kasi would rather not deal with selling the idea. Here we go. When I tell you, na-encroach yung freedom ninyo, ang mahalaga rin kasi sa atin, hindi lang yung creativity as director, as storyteller, as a writer. Kasama dito, kaya tayo nagkakaroon ng thesis defense. May pinapractice rin sa atin dito ang paaralan natin. Is how to sell an idea. Minsan bibigyan ka, Direk, I want a love story. Okay, then I'll tell you something. We'll do a love story. Except that it involves two men. Are you cool with that? Ay, no. Kailangan namin pang Valentine's. Valentine's? Di ba? Bakit? Wala bang Valentine's sa mga bading? So you start talking to them. You start negotiating. Hindi kung ano lang binigay sa'yo, natulala ka na. Because it doesn't go part of your original plan. Kunwari, your original plan was to do a comedy. Pag gusto namin love story. Okay, love story. Let's compromise. Ito gusto ko. So, dun lumalabas yung creativity nyo. Kung kaya nyong madiskartehan, kung paano yung ibebenta. That's also our training. So, hindi lang yung kung paano mag-shoot, kung paano. It's not only the technical aspect. It's easy for us, especially for Lasalites, kasi our program is so production-oriented. Nakakalimutan na natin na tinrain rin tayo doon sa aspect na yun of how to be businessmen when it comes to this. Businessmen in the sense that you're trying to sell the idea, trying to sell the project. It comes with it. And habang kinakailangan nyo pa yung producers, let's know how to handle producers. Let's know how to compromise with them if we have to. Let's know how to deal with them. And when the time comes that you have raised enough funds on your own, or if you find yourself revered or respectable enough that a producer asks you to do anything you want, and then do that dream project of yours, or do those dream projects that you want, and do those masturbation projects that you want. Maybe this time they will like that masturbation project of yours. Right? That's it. Thank you very much.
Questions lang after both speakers. So, our next speaker is a film director you all should be familiar with. His work for Rock 7 was nominated for Best Film the New Breed category for the most recent Cinemalaya. Also, he has award-winning shorts. Everyone, please welcome Carlo Arsobispo.
Sabi ko kay Direk Dominic, salamat. Sinabi na niya lahat. Yeah, well, basically, ang nagawa ko pala naman kasi is Rock 7, so we'll be talking much about my experience in terms of creative freedom in the production of Rock 7. Ay, meron pala akong presentation. Yeah, when I asked RB kasi, like, what specific issues you guys want to know during the talk, may mga sinabi siyang guidelines. So, medyo nag-prepare lang ako. And actually, when pag sinabi natin creative freedom, I also had struggle defining what creative freedom is. So medyo it's a bit subjective actually. It depends on how you handle, on how you like create the awareness or how you define it for yourself. Yeah, so just for the ano lang, para magkaroon lang tayo ng basic ng common ground. Ay, okay lang.
Okay lang po.
Salamat
Sabihin na lang.
sige po. Okay. Ayan, it's a power or right to act, speak or think as one wants without hindrance or restraint. Freedom. I got it from Oxford. Nandun naman yung citation. And when you say creativity, it refers to mental processes that lead to solutions, ideas, conceptualizations, artistic forms, theories, or products that are unique and novel. Let's go back to freedom. When you say without hindrance or restraint, is it actually possible? Sa film, let's say film or TV, is it possible na walang hindrance or restraint? Actually possible. Posible siya, pero mahirap siyang ma-attain. Dito sa filmmakers, meron tayong mga stages ng being creative or merong stages sa film sa mga filmmakers na na-define din yung level of being free in terms of creativity. Pero sige, let's move lang tayo. Eto, maraming mga aspects. Actually, I agree with a lot of points na na-raise ni Direk Dominic. Marami sa atin ang nagkakaroon ng negative impression na pag sinabing commercial film or mainstream, parang dictated yan ng producer. Ayun, so parang meron tayong mga notion na hindi naman talaga art, hindi naman talaga work ng director or alam niyo yun, parang na-spoil talaga yung creativity ng director when we say mainstream. I don't necessarily agree also dun sa concept na yan. Kasi actually, yung kasi, ang tingin ko kasi sa mga producers din, they are the counterpart balance. Sila lang nagbabalance ng yamang producers kasi sila. Aside from Mother Lily, marami sa mga mainstream producers natin, they're also concerned with pera. Kasi syempre, pag hindi ka naman kikita ng pera, ano pa babayad mo sa artista mo? Ano pa babayad sa TF mo bilang director? So hindi natin maiwasan na isipin pa rin talaga natin yung pera. Actually, hindi lang sa mainstream. Pati rin naman sa indie. Kailangan din natin isipin yung pera. Which ideas would make money. Later on, ipapakita ko sa inyo kung ano yung mga intentions na pwedeng lumabas sa independent filmmaking. Ito na pala. Marami. Sige, yung first muna. Ito, there are a lot of factors. Well, budget talaga, isa na yun sa major, it's a given factor na para sa mga filmmakers in the independent industry na nagdidictate sa creative freedom ng isang filmmaker. Pero hindi lang yun this is just based on my experience. I know there are a lot more, pero I cannot talk about things naman na hindi ko pa talaga na-digest or na-experience. So, when I say to express or to affect, ito isang sentiment ko din kasi sa mga ibang filmmakers sa independent film. Ang purpose kasi nila minsan is just to express. Nagiging dahil sa tingin nila ay independent, wala silang pakialam dun sa manonood, whether they understand their purpose, their meaning or not. Yun nga yung sinasabi ni Direk Dominic, which I agree, absolutely. We are communicators. Diba? Ano bang purpose natin para gumawa tayo ng isang pelikula? Ay, matalino ako, I'm a highly intellectual individual. Gawa ako ng film. Naintindihan mo? Hindi. Ay, wala akong pakialam sa'yo. Panga ka. Sana hindi, di ba? And the other one is to affect. Meron akong isang idol, isang tinitingalang filmmaker. Her name is Ditsy Carolino. Napaka-powerful ng mga documentary niya. And nag-attend ako ng isang workshop niya one time that I really got moved. Yung title niya is Cinema That Moves. Ganun siya. I also got something from Bing Lao, that a filmmaker, sabi niya, a filmmaker is a critic of his time. Di ba? We are communicating something, we are attacking something, we want change, we want to move. Hindi lang sana yung matalino ako. Minsan nakaka-frustrate din kasi. Nakaka-frustrate din kasi hindi ko rin maintindihan.
Ang daming gano'n.
Hindi ko rin maintindihan yung pelikula. Sabi ko, bubo na ba ako? Di ba? Kahit mga filmmakers minsan, pinag-uusapan namin yan, lalabas kami after ng sinihan. Ang init ng ulo nila. Kasi wala kami mapag-usapan. It's also important that you determine kung ano yung purpose mo. Okay lang, siguro ako one day gagawa din ako ng something na mag-express lang ako ng highly intellectual, kung meron man ako later on. Highly intellectual ideas. Pero sa akin kasi, I love my audience. We have to love our audience. Kasi kapag if we keep on giving them something that they don't understand, para sino pang manonood ng pelikula? O, huwag ka na gumawa ng pelikula ka lang. O kaya huwag mo ipalabas sa sine. Tago mo na lang sa bahay, tapos palabas mo pag may bisita ka. Sayang naman. Kasi ako nangihinayang ako kasi there are a lot of brilliant ideas talaga. Actually, kung iisipin mo, pag papanoorin mo mabuti, pag pagsasyagaan mo, scrutinize mo, yung mga material, talagang intellectual. Makukuha mo naman siya. Pero sayang lang kasi maraming tao na wala namang panahon na when they go to the cinema to watch your movie, parang sana na, hindi naman sa spoon feeding, no? Pero sana naman nandun sa level na magkakaintindihan ka, magkakaroon kayo ng connection. Kasi gumawa ka, you're trying to say something, and at the same time, your audience is expecting something also. Pero natapos na yung pelikula mo, hindi man lang kayo nag-connect. Mahirap din yan. Sayang naman. Sayang yung effort mo as director na was trying to say something. Sayang din yung oras ng tao, yung nilaan nilang expectation, excitement din nila. Marami sayang. So, those are things that can affect yung pagtatrabaho mo. Ano ba ang gusto mong gawin? Gusto mo lang ba mag-express? O sige, free ka. Or paano naman kung gusto mo magkaroon ng connection dun sa manonood ng pelikula mo. The director's vision versus what the audience wants. Na eto dito nagkakatalo ang parang parehas lang din naman no? Director versus the studio. What the audience wants kasi parang mas nagiging issue to usually kapag nakapag-set ka na ng what do you call that? Parang you would be known for that kind of genre or style, mga ganun. So kapag gumawa ka ng first film mo and nag-click siya, nagustuhan ng audience, meron tendency na you do the same because it would sell, it would be appreciated, people would watch it, it can earn money. Mga ganun. So maapektuhan din sometimes yung vision mo as director. Gusto mo rin ng ibang, gusto mo rin mag-experiment ng ibang treatment. Speaking of treatment, at least nagagamit ko na siya ngayon. Dati napapatanga din ako. Gaano ka-importante sa atin ang audience bilang manonood, bilang filmmakers?
Super important.
Marami. Para sa akin kasi napaka-importante kung ano yung ma-experience, kung ano yung mararamdaman din ng audience habang pinapanood yung pelikula or what. Actually, isa yun sa mga challenge kasi din. Nung sinusulat ko ang Purok 7, gusto ko maging intellectual. Pero syempre, hindi naman ako intellectual. Isa lang ako taga-Purok. Pero ang isang challenge kasi para sa akin ng Purok 7 is, or paggawa ng pelikula itself, is how can I attract or how can I make a movie that can be both appreciated and understood by the highly intellectuals and siya na nagpe-pedicab. Kaya ba yan? Try natin. Wala naman ako pa na try natin. So, actually that was a challenge for me kasi ang dami ko kasi nami-meet ng mga filmmakers na ang intention nila gagawa ng pelikula pang festival, mga ganun. Mga pang festival or pang entertainment. Ganun. Try natin pagsamahin. Gusto ko ng movie na madaling intindihin and at the same time may sinasabi. So yun. Nagpurok siya. Hindi, may sasabihin pa ako. May napansin. Nakakatawa nga ako. Sige, mamaya na lang. Sana lumabas siya ulit. The director versus the studio, yun nga nasabi na ni, he explained it much better, yung role ng producer. Hindi lang naman magdikta, o hindi lang naman at tama din yung sinabi niya, actually nag-note ako. We take limitations as challenges to come up with something else. Marami. Sabi nga ng mga ibang filmmakers din, marami kasing mga nagka-clash na producers tsaka mga director. We call it friction. Friction between the two. And it comes, nagkakaroon siya na it gives us a spark. It gives us something else. Minsan lumalabas din doon yung better ideas or better choices. So, i-welcome lang natin yung mga yun. I-accommodate lang natin later on pag you guys work in the industry. At least alam niyo na kung ano yung mga pwedeng mangyari doon. I-welcome natin yung mga yun. Kasi ang dami lumalabas ng mga ideas sa mga friction. Mamaya, we will talk more about these things din sana in relation to production. Tapos, syempre, other factors that would define your creative freedom, yung budget mo. Gusto ko ng death sentence issue sa China. Gusto kong kuhanan yung mga buhay ng mga Filipina na nakahanin sa death row in China. Eh, ang budget na 500,000. Nagila-gilalas. Kaya ba ng 500,000? Yung isang concept na gano'n, isang material na gano'n. Siyempre hindi, di ba? Eh gusto ko talaga yung idea eh. Eh hindi kaya ng budget. Hanapin natin ng paraan. Yung sinabi ni Direk. Hanapin natin ng paraan. Baka pwede naman mag-tackle ng death sentence issue without going to China. Di ba? So, meron kang characters and hanapan mo ng angulo kung saan ka pwede makapasok. Eh nagtitipid pa rin ako. Sabi ko, mahal ang hotel, mahal ang location, ganyan. Eh ang neighborhood ko naman, ang Poroksyete naman ginawa kong peg talaga ang neighborhood ko. Sa Poroksyete mismo. So dali na lang yung mga artista dito. Tsaka yung mga crew. Hindi, the budget should not dictate how creative you are. Diyan nga dapat lumabas kung gaano ka-creative. So pag sinasabi natin na hindi kasi kaya ganyan nagtipid na or what. Hindi na nag-shoot or lumalabas yung mga sablay. Marami actually Poroksyete din naman. I'm guilty of that. Pero again, wag nating hayaan na budget mismo mag-dictate kung gaano tayo ka-creative. Mayroon nga ako nakilalang director, nagpo-produce siya ng full length sa halagang 150,000 pesos. Creative niya. Lawyer kasi siya. Yung mga tao niya, hindi niya binabayaran. Sabi niya, pag nagkakaso daw... Pag nagkakaso daw yung mga tao niya, libre na din yung legal services niya. Hayop siya. Now, yung creative freedom para sa akin din is talaga mahirap ma-achieve. We also have censorship. Napanood niyo yung porno?
Yes. Amor y muerte.
Amor y muerte.
Yes.
So, ang lamig. Yeah, something that we have to be aware of also, yung mga censorship. So, gaya ng Poroksyete din, I also considered this factor. Gusto ko rin mapanood ng mga bata. So actually, maraming mga eksena na eventually in-edit out ko sa Paroksiyete. Yung mga green jokes ng mga manginginom, ng mga nag-tong-its, yung mga ganun. Kasi eventually I decided na gusto ko rin mapanood ng younger audiences. Sabi ko. So hindi lang, originally kasi parang ang audience ko dapat estudyante, college, mga teeners, mga ganun. Eh, sayang naman yung bata, yung si Mix Paderno. Baka pwede rin yung mga age niya ako. So, in-edit out namin yung mga bad languages para maging ano lang talaga siya. Friendly, family friendly. Kaya, na-appreciate ko yung screening sa Trinoma, sa Q Cinema recently. Kasi napuno ng mga bata. Naging playground siya. Nagtatakbuhan yung mga bata doon. Sabi ko, nag-question ko naman ulit yung sarili ko. Actually, kaya ba to ng 10 years old or 9 years old? Eh, tumatawan naman daw sila. Kaya hayaan na natin. Nagkakaintindihan ba tayo na kapag sinasabi nating factors, they don't necessarily limit your creativity. So, pinipiga nga nila yung creativity mo as an artist. Even the deadline. Ewan ko, sa akin kasi minsan pag nandiyan na yung deadline, mas nagiging intellectual ako. Kunyari. Meron yan kasi it's very difficult din naman nagagawa ka ng pelikula na wala kang deadline. Baka mag-procrastinate ka lang or what. Meron ba kayong kilalang director na walang deadline?
Meron, yung gumawa nung 13, 14, 15, ni Rupa Gutierrez sa kanila.
Wala silang deadline.
Oo, kasi nung natapos yung pelikula, mas matangkad na si Rupa Gutierrez kaya na Silva.
Ako meron din akong kilalang walang deadline. Kilala niyo si Eric Biglia, si Kidlat Tahimik.
Kidlat Tahimik.
20 years. Malaki na yung anak niya. Pero, treatment niya yun eh. May ganun siyang treatment. It's not necessarily bad. Pero again, kanya-kanyang definition niya of creative freedom. Yun yung istorya niya. Yun yung istorya niya eh. So, it calls for for his storytelling. Tapos, 2 minutes na lang. Sige, ito na lang. Kasi dadaan tayo dito lahat sa phases of a filmmaker. Sabi ko sa inyo, ang creative freedom ay may kanya-kanyang level din, depending on kung saan phase ka ng filmmaker. So, dun sa phase 1, sa first-timer filmmakers, mga factors na ma-experience mo, in terms of creative freedom, yung constraints, financial constraints, which is alam naman na natin, yung mga frictions, ang dami-daming mga clashes. Sige. Sige, I'll try to make it fast now. Sa Paroksiyete, for example, it's very obvious that sa namin. Sa budgeting namin, ang naging problema namin dun, by the way, meron akong producer dapat. So, ang binigyan ng Sinimalaya is 500,000. Ang projected costing namin sa production ng Paroksiyete is 1.6 M. Pero nung sinusulat ko siya, gusto ko 80,000. 80,000 lang dapat. Gusto ko gumawa ng pelikula na 80,000 lang. Yung uutangin ko lang sa bangko. Hindi pala ganun. Magpapakain ka pala.
Sis ka, hindi ko magawa ng 80,000 pieces mo
So, basta dapat ang ipoproduce niyang pera is 1.2. Tapos, few days before the photography, mga 1 week naman, ganun, nawala siya na hindi nagparamdam. No call, no text, no show. So, blanco kami. Hindi kami prepared sa ganun. So, dahil committed na lahat ng mga tao, at saka syempre ayoko namang mapahiya ayoko namang mag-back out sa Star Cinema sa Star Cinema.
Sinimalaya.
Nag-back out kasi ako sa Star Cinema for Sinimalaya. ayaw ko naman back out sa Sinimalaya kasi hinintay ko yun eh. I worked for that. Oo, ayaw ko naman masira kasi sabi ko, pag nag-back out ako dito, baka hindi na ako tanggapin sa mga susunod na proposal ko. So, sige, sabi ko, itry natin mag-raise kung hanggang magkano man lang yung aabutin ng budget natin. Let's work on that. Sabi ko. Tapos, nag-raise kami from 1.7, ang kaya namin for the photography is 700,000 lang. So, nag-downgrade kami ng camera, ng mga sasakyan, nagbawas. Lahat na ng pwedeng mabawas. On the 4th day, ang daming lumalabas ng mga unexpected expenses. On the 6th day, wala na kaming pera. The photography shutdown, the production shutdown. 9 days yung ano namin. 9 days yung schedule namin. Wala na. We waited for like more than a month para mapondohan yung 2 araw ng shooting. Tapos another 2 months para doon sa isa. Ang dami na rin hindi na-achieve as far as directorial intention is concerned. Pero, kung ano yung meron na kami. Sometimes we have to be, resourceful na rin, or compromise na rin. Kung ano yung available na resources natin, ganun lang. Pero sayang lang, kasi syempre, yung creative freedom mo nga, na na hindi mo nasusunod kung ano talaga din sana yung gusto mo. Na sa feeling mo, mas maganda sana. Pero tanggapin na natin yun. That's part of being a filmmaker on the first phase. Tapos yung friction ng away-away, ang dami. Ewan ko sa kanila. Wala lang sa buhay nila. Na kapag nag-phase 2 ka na, usually kasi alam niyo ba, sa phase 1, sabi nila, mas magaganda nga yung mga gawa ng mga first-time filmmakers na mas kokonti yung budget. Oo. Kasi yung mga filmmakers na first-timer, talagang eager yung mga yan. They want it talaga bito. At saka hirap naman kasi pag first time kang gagawa ng pelikula tapos sablay. Sa susunod manonood ka na lang ng pelikula ng iba. Baka hindi ka makakuha ng producer. So it's very important. The first film that you guys make, gandahan niyo yan. Kahit huwag niyo na, hayaan niyo na yung mga away-away, yung mga constraints. Ilusot niyo yan, itawid niyo yan. Kasi that's very important. Kasi kapag naitawid niyo yan sa phase 2, mas marami na kayong freedom. Medyo lalapit na rin yung mga producers sa inyo. Kasi nung phase 1, isang problem ko din, hindi man kasi ako kilala eh. Wala man akong nagawang films before, except yung 2 short films na wala naman yatang nanood. Kasi intellectual. Oo, so, ang hirap. Nag-hesitate ako tumawag sa mga producers kasi unang-una, hindi nila ako kilala. Pangalawa, hindi ko rin sila kilala. Kasi taga-barrio nga ako. So, ang nahirapan talaga ako. Now, dito sa phase 2, kahit pa paano naman kasi I'm very happy with Proxete and may mga natuwa din. So, sa phase 2, pag mag-phase naman ako kung sasakali, no? May mga producers na din naman na nag-express ng interest mag-produce ng films. Diba? Nagtatanong sila, Direk Carlo, anong next project mo? I-pitch mo sa akin. Wala pa po eh. Ate sila na yung maghihintay, di ba? hindi na ako makangarag maghanap. So, the phase 1 is very important. Okay. Dalawang na lang. Ayan, sa phase 3 naman, yung judgment mo sa director hindi na kino-question. Kaya marami ding mga dahil absolute na kasi yung freedom mo eh. Kapag established ka na, yung producer bigay ng pera sa hindi na niya problema kung kikita pa to or maintindihan pa ng audience. Pinagkakatiwala na sa lahat. So dito minsan lumalabas yung mga intelligent films. Dito lumalabas yung pag gusto nila maging intellectual, yung kanilang mga pelikula. Dito nila na-achieve yung freedom na yan. Kasi nalampasan na nila yung mga test kung saan ma-judge yung ma-evaluate or ma-assess yung judgment nila bilang directors. So kung gusto natin ng absolute freedom, siguro yan. Buti natin yung phase 3. Ayan. Tapos, ayan yung mga samples na Oh, sige, hiya mo na. Meron pa ba? Ayan, wala na yan. Ayan, oh.
Okay na.
Thank you. And the floor is now open for questions. If you want, you could, kasi medyo na-cut off yung presentation ni Sir Obispo, we could have, ano na lang, if you want to ask questions related to the constraints of shooting Purok 7 or something, so you guys can ask.
Wala bang magaan?
May question na. For Direk Dominic, being Lasolian, I think you're in a perfect position to...
Perfect? There's no such thing as perfect. Hindi yun, Direk Joel.
Di ba kayo nakikinig sa sinabi ni, ni Trina tsaka ni Joel? Walang perfect.
You know, being from Lasal also, and everyone who's here is taking com-arts na, well, it's medyo out of place with the creative freedom thing. How do you, right after graduation or something, how do you start out? Paano mo kinapa yung, how do you find your way to working in television?
Oh damn, you do everything. Actually, I had a double degree major. So when I graduated, fresh out of college, I didn't even, I was already working before I graduated. I was working at Federal Express kasi may marketing degree ako. And then 9 months into that, sabi ng friend ko, Dobs, wag na tayo dyan. Tigilan natin yan kasi mas enjoy tayo sa college nun sa, sa production. His name is Mark Reyes, he's also a director. Sabi, mukhang makakahanap tayong producer, gagawa tayo ng kung ano-ano. So yun, for the first projects we had, you do everything. I was co-director, writer, lighting director, editor, musical scholar, driver, marketing. You do for 6,500 a month. Yun lang yung sweldo ko nun. Tapos tulog mo siguro isa't kalahating oras. If you go about 1 hour and 45 minutes, OA na, parang sira na yung schedule mo. Pero word of advice, dun sa mga nag-aakalang magaling kayo, dun sa akalang may mga storya kayong unique, it has been, they figured out that there are only about 34 stories, basic stories that you can tell. Iniiba-iba mo lang. Pag iniisip nyo magaling kayo, baka nga magaling kayo, pero hindi lang kayo magaling. Maraming magaling. And to get to where you want to get entails more than just skill, talent. Ako, tanongin nyo, kailangan mabait din kayo. Maraming asshole sa mundo. Kailangan mabait ka. Ganito ka simple. Pound for pound, kung pareho kaming nag-a-apply. Tapos pound for pound, pareho lang kaming magaling. Magka-level lang kami. Pero ako, asshole, siya mabait. Sino pipiliin ng producer? Sino pipiliin ng team? Ako rin eh. Kung meron akong katrabaho, if he's a nice guy, I'd want to see him succeed. If he's a bad guy and he succeeds, swerte niya. Pero if I had any chance, I don't want that bad guy to succeed. Ganun kasimple. I don't know, mas simple na siya tignan ngayon kapag matanda ka na, yung pala yung katuturan ng magiging mabait. Your talent can only take you so far. Ngayon it's not about one person. Bihira ka na makita ng mga out year ngayon na you work as a team. The team is so much bigger than you. Kung may weak link ka doon, wala. If I had, kunwari, let's talk about My Husband's Lover kasi yung ginagawa ko. If may character na si Eric, si Dennis Trillo, wasn't willing to embrace his character, or meron siyang konting reluctance, makikita yun. So, hindi maganda lalabas yung proyekto. So you have to understand that as a director, you also make this team work towards a certain goal. If they're not functioning well, it's also under your jurisdiction. It's also part of your responsibility to motivate them towards the same goal. Did I answer the question? I even forgot the question. I just remembered last time. I just remembered last time. Gusto ko yung sinabi mo nga pala. Bakit mo natapos na sabi ko? Hindi, gusto ko lang sinabi niya. Kasi yung pinanood ko yung Purok 7. Gusto ko yung yung hindi nagpapa-intellectual. Ilan tayo nakapanood doon? Kayo naman, di ka nagtaas ng kamay, tinataas mo ngayon. Joke. Minsan yung pinakasimpleng storya, yun pa yung magwo-work. Dumarating, if you're telling me may mga na-drop ka ng mga sequences na mga hindi mo na nagawa, hindi ko nalaman yun. Lumabas ako nakangiti, lumabas ako feeling good, lumabas ako wanting to tell a good friend of mine na, hey, panoorin mo to. Ito yung mga isa mga panoorin ng sa festival. Okay?
This is for the both of you. Do you both mention that you have there are constraints concerning budget? But aside from that, what is the biggest constraint you've had producing, let's say, a teleserye or a movie?
First of all, these constraints, in fact, I enjoy them. I enjoy these constraints. I like the stress. Yung stress, sinasabaw ko yan sa kanin. No, I like it because it opens my mind even more. Sabihin natin, Direk, gumawa ka ng Rizal movie. Ano budget natin? 20. Liit. Payat. Kaya pa nagdagan. 30M. Payat. Kailangan ko 50M. Rizal movie, Direk eh. Rizal movie pinagagawa sa akin, 50 million. 50 million kailangan ko. Direk 25 lang talaga. Okay. Isip. Ito ngayon ko lang iniisip. 25 million. Gagawa ko Rizal movie. Sige, gagawa ko Rizal movie. Pero ang title niya, Josephine Bracken. Okay? So, hindi ako mag-shoot sa Germany. Shoot ko lang yung Rizal from the POV of the woman. For a change, gagawa ko ng Josephine Bracken. Papakita ko ngayon yung side ni Rizal nata sa hindi ko malaman, ayoko nga tawaging hero eh. Not as that figure that na palagi nyo nakikita. Gusto ko siya makita as a lover. Gusto ko siya makita, tapos gagawa ko, papakita ko rin Josephine Bracken, tapos i-introduce ko yung character ni Leonor Rivera, lahat ng girls niya. As a lover. So makakagawa ko, siguro makakagawa ko, baka 20 million. Bubulsa ko na yung 5 million. Pero, my point is, minsan kapag binigyan ka ng constraint, mas lalo pa lalabas yung gilas mo. Kung kaya mo talagang, kung magaling ka talaga, madidiskartehan mo yan. So don't let that creative freedom being encroached on you, don't even think of it that way. Think of it as yung, pag binibigyan ka ng limitations, kapag sinaraduhan ka naman, they don't place you in a box. They just flank you from both sides and give you a certain direction. Kung saan mo dadalhin yun, ikaw bahala din. How far you want to take it, nandun ka. But you're still on the same road.
Ako naman. Nag-isip ako ng something intellectual. Ang importante kasi talaga alam mo kung ano yung gusto mong gawin. And talagang eager ka, zealous ka. Kasi kapag mahina din yung motivation mo bilang isang artist, konting constraint lang, madali kang mag-give up eh. So, importante rin na i-condition mo yung sarili mo, i-feed mo yung sarili mo ng mga tamang motivation, tamang spirituality, tamang intellectualism. What a word. So, it's very important na buong ang loob mo na gagawin mo o tatapusin mo isang proyekto. And everything else will just follow. Intellectual ba?
After that, private.
So thank you to both of our speakers. On behalf of our class, for imparting his valuable insights and experiences to the communication arts students of De La Salle during the Media and Society Media Speaker Series event. Tongue twister. Exploring Beyond Limits, Creative Freedom in the Media Industry, given the 17th day of October in the year of our Lord 2000. Given on the 17th day of October in the year of our Lord 2013, Mr. Carlo Arsobispo. Also, for imparting his valuable insights and experiences to the communication arts students of De La Salle during the Media and Society Media Speaker Series event 2013, Exploring Beyond Limits, Creative Freedom in the Media Industry, we present the certificate to Direk Dominic Zapata. Picture taking time.
Would you stay for a minute? Just a minute.